Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, out here with my course loadout from the 3-day night vision class with Buck Doyle from Follow Through Consulting. Not long ago, as of filming this, had the opportunity to go down and take a pretty awesome class with Buck Doyle, 3-day night vision class. And there will be a video on that if it's not already out. But right here is my loadout from that course. And so keeping in mind, I don't know, late November, and it took place, really amazing facility down in, I guess it would be northeastern New Mexico. Awesome facility there. And I looked at the weather, was not going to be warm. I want to say the nights were getting down to mid-20s. So with that in mind, here is my loadout, starting kind of ground up. I ended up wearing these pretty much every day. These are the Salomon Tundra, weird way they write it. Awesome boots. I've reviewed them before. I will say they were actually too hot during the day. Totally lucked out weather-wise. And in the middle of the day, the sun would come out with no wind, and it'd be like 65 degrees. It was really nice. So kind of too hot for these during the day, but still warm because it's what I brought. And there was definitely snow on the ground, so they kept my feet dry also. For, I guess, pretty much all 3 days, I ended up wearing, I don't think I have them here, the pants. They're the Testa Softshell pants by Beyond. They're great, super comfortable, nice and warm also. And then t-shirts, and then I think, also don't have it, reviewed it before, also by Beyond. It is their Alpha Aura jacket, really lightweight, really nice insulation. Pretty much wore all that stuff. And then when it would get cold at night, I would wear this, which did a great job for me. Again, already reviewed it, but this is my Beyond. It is their Cetra durable L7 I think. Basically their top as well as bottom. And it's their insulated high loft stuff. What's really nice, especially with the pants, is you can unzip the legs all the way up. So just throw them straight over your pants, straight over boots, don't have to take them off, anything like that. And that stuff honestly kept me really nice and warm. For eye pros, since I wear prescription lenses, again, wore these, I always wear them. These are my Smith Director Elite with some Zeiss ballistic lenses. They do a great job for me. Ear Pro, I ended up wearing some Surefire EP5, EP5, basically in-ear hearing protection. They did a good job. Mainly wore that during the day. At night when we were shooting under nods, on my helmet setup I'll get to in a minute, basically I had amplified hearing protection, but yeah, these did good. And speaking of helmet setup, flew with all this. This right here is by OTTE Gear. It is their helmet bag. Inside they also have pretty nice padded compartment for your night vision, so it doesn't get banged up. And right here is my Sentry XP helmet, Ballistic by OpsCore. I really need to finish reviewing it. It's great. On here I have the arms, ended up with using their amps, amplified hearing protection, come down, fit under there. Setup for comms, didn't use any comms. Back here I have this by GOM, Gathering of Minds. It is a battery compartment, counterweight, which is handy if you're going to carry weight on your helmet, make sure it's useful. Actually has 3 CR123s, did not use those, more on that in a minute though. Helmet cover by Varusteleka. This right here is the Spark from Unity Tactical. It's just a marking light, did not use it. And then up here on Wilcox G24, I believe, mount, I have my DTNVS from Licentia arms. They're incredible. These right here are Gen 3 filmless white phos from L3. They're great. Up here I have these Phokus research caps. Didn't use them, pretty much kept them wide open. More than anything, just there's a sacrificial lens in there. And the shooting we were doing, I didn't need to do anything close, so I just pretty much kept these focused to infinity. And then on here, the Grec-X, it is their mission recorder. allowed me to get a bunch of footage looking through my tubes, which is pretty handy. And then on here also is the Sidewinder Stalk by Streamlight. Pretty handy little task light. I'd usually leave it in the red configuration and go back, jam mags, made it really easy to see and not like blow out my or other people's night vision. Which then brings us to other gear. So one, I knew it was going to be a night vision course. I knew it was probably going to be cold, and we weren't shooting secondary, so didn't need a pistol or anything. And so with all of that in mind, I was like, well, I need to put in some more time with this. And this will be handy because it'll go straight over all of my other gear. And this right here is the Winter Warfare Assault Kit by Spiritus Systems. So it is a split front chest rig and pretty much turnkey with a bunch of pouches, and it's actually really handy. So starting over here on the left side, in this outer pouch right here, I actually kept these when I wasn't using them, when it was warmer. These right here are the press check assault gloves, kept those in there. And then this is set up, I actually have a radio in there, in some Spiritus Velcro pouches. Again, no comms, but kept it in there. This blade right here is my AMTAC Minuteman. I usually have it on my belt line. Wasn't gonna have access to it, especially when I started layering up. So I went ahead and threw it in here. Velcro cells along the back. And then these pouches right here, they're spud pouches, I think they're called. Pretty handy. You can get two 5.56 mags in here, or you can get one 308 like AR-10 mag, which is what I did. And then over on this side, on the back, again, even though like right now I have a RMT Tourniquet, when that's covered up, still want access to it. So I have this other one, have that in there, some med stuff in here, as well as I think I have some Kim lights, which did not end up using in there. And then again, another of these spud pouches for reload. So usually I would go out and I would have a mag. These also are the 25 rounders. I think I had 3 25 rounders. Also had a number of just 20 rounders in a D50, more on that. But usually I would end up rolling with 3 of these 25 rounders. So 1 in the gun and then 1 in each of those mag pouches for reloads. None of the strings of fire we did were crazy to where you were burning through like multiple mags. At most, I would need to do a reload depending on what we were doing. And yeah, ended up running this setup. It's pretty sweet. And here's my gun. This thing is rad. It is so much fun. So this right here is the Boombox by Q in 8.6 Blackout. And yeah, I had so much fun shooting this over the course of those 3 days. So I guess start at the front. Right here is the Porq chop. It is the longer of the 2 steel 338 silencers they make. The short chop, I think, is probably about like that. Thing sounds amazing though. Right here is their kickstand, which direct mounts on a Q-cert. I used it a couple times, namely zeroing. I think there might have been one other time I used it. Honestly, it's one of those where it's so light and it just doesn't get in the way. It stays out of the way. And if for whatever reason I need to shoot over something, it's really easy to throw that on something rather than have something make contact with a can, potentially throw a shot. So use that. This right here is the, I still don't know how to pronounce it, Penumbra, I guess it is, by AMMJ Solutions or Designs. It is a IR laser and illuminator. Definitely used it some. It did what I asked of it. Lots of time though was actually shooting passive. So right here is EOTech, I forget the model number, one of the models that actually has night vision settings so we can click into it, and it did great. While I do have this on here, this is actually the Aimpoint Magnifier to go with my EOTech on a Scalarworks leap mount. Nice, just flips out of the way. Honestly, my favorite thing about it though is it's really easy to take it off. And so this magnifier really only had on there a couple times zeroing. I say a couple times because, well, shooting 8.6 Blackout. I initially zeroed and shot the first 2 days with subs, and then we were getting light, and so I ended up switching to super. So again, threw that back on for zeroing again. And I guess on that, I did actually shoot this. This was pretty fun. This is the D50 by Magpul, basically for any like 308 parent case, which 8.6 blackout is. I did not shoot it with subs, ended up shooting it with supers, did a good job. As far as ammo, I guess quick note on that, we're shooting Gorilla supers, was I think 210 TSX, and 300 grain Sierra Match King, I want to say, for their subs. This actually shot amazing. I kept it lubed in part, and yeah, it chugged along. I did run into one issue with I think 1 or 2 rounds of the super, and happened to have engineers there talking with the guys that actually built this gun. And in talking with them, having talked to Gorilla, I guess one of the things they're still kind of nailing down, because that round is still pretty new, is how much force and where to actually crimp the round, because you actually have a really long projectile. And so what can happen, depending on how tightly it's crimped, where it's crimped, is when it is violently being loaded, if that long bullet hits the feed ramp, if it's not crimped tight enough, it can kick it up, and then it'll get lodged, which over the course of hundreds of rounds, I think that happened with like maybe one. And my understanding is at this point, Gorilla is still kind of finalizing, again, where and how to actually crimp that for shooting in a gas gun. Other things with, well, the Sling, and there's a Sling keeper, so bad with names, and they should have done a better job with branding. I'm not sure who actually makes that Sling keeper. Honestly, it's pretty handy for just administratively moving around with the gun. Right here though, Viking Tactics, great sling, plenty of adjustment, and you can get it really tight or make it loose, depending, a lot more so than just like a regular captured 2-point. Back here, U-loop by Blue Force Gear, works really well there. Up front, I actually have a QD and my grip. This right here is from Die Free Company, Kung Fu grip, and this is their new plug down here, which, let's see if I can get this to come out. Grip plug. It will hold a number of things, to include CR123 batteries, and I mention that because, one, carry things that are useful if you are going to carry them. And so both the optic as well as the laser uses CR123 batteries. And something else I brought out there, I reviewed this like years ago, battery tester, and I guess it was, I think it was our last night out before we went out. Went through, tested all my batteries. One of them was at like 40%. Not the time and place I want to change it out in the field, especially because we're doing a competition. So I went ahead, pulled one out of here, swapped it, and good to go. So definitely handy. Which brings us to thoughts on everything, how to do. Honestly, everything did great. There's nothing I really would have changed out with the setup. This gun is a ton of fun to shoot, like so much fun, especially shooting subs. In part, it is a really quiet gun to shoot, and then you have 300 grains just like crushing steel, which is really fun too. Yeah, no, I had a blast with this, and yeah, great time. Overall, everything did good. Wouldn't have really changed anything, but yeah, if you're interested in checking any of this out, there'll be links down below. And as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadge.com. Look forward to seeing you next time. What are you doing, nerd? Good boy.